Hi, everybody. I'm Dr. Stephen, and I'm your professor for the Christian Worldview class. And I just want to say I'm so sorry because I should have sent you this video a week ago, and some things happened. I can't go into it, but I had to travel out of town, and I was unable to do it, which was not your fault at all. And you guys have already jumped in, and it's been wonderful. So please accept my apology, and we'll make it all work. Don't worry at all. One of the things I did want to say about this class is that about half of you, or maybe even a little more than half of you, have already had me as a professor. And to you guys, I just say, hey, it's great to see you again. For those of you that haven't had me as a professor, as I'll share in just a moment, I'm kind of new at online education. I'm really trying to make it as interactive as possible, but I am a grace guy. So we're going to make all this work out. Any little glitches that there are in the syllabus and those kind of things, don't you worry at all. We're going to make it work out, and every one of you is going to be successful. I know there's been some confusion about the assignments and journal and some of those things, and that's because I inherited this syllabus, and at the same time I've been trying to change a few things to make it more my syllabus, but still trying to respect the institution as well. So what I'm going to do, and I will do it within the next day or so, I'm going to send out a very simple one-page on an email, one-page little itemized list of the exact assignments and when they're due, and that will become our document. Okay, that'll become the one. I'll conform the syllabus and the lesson tabs in the portal. I'll conform all that to this list, so you guys will know exactly when things are due. And I'm just telling you right now, don't worry about it. We'll make it all work. And if there's any confusion, I'll take the hit. Okay? I want this to be just a great learning opportunity for you guys as we engage in such an incredibly important topic. I'm here in my study down in our basement. I live in Colorado Springs, Colorado. And I wanted to give you just a real quick thumbnail about me, because sometimes it's helpful to know who this professor is when you're taking an online class. I was a pastor originally in the Jesus movement of Southern California many, many years ago. I really grew up as a Christian in a Christian home, but it was in my high school years that I really began to consider serving the Lord. And so when I was young, my wife and I had our first child, and I was the associate pastor and a worship leader at a large church in the Los Angeles area. And in 1982, while she was pregnant with our second child, we accepted an invitation to move to Denver, Colorado, where I became the associate pastor of a large growing church there. I eventually was part of the Vineyard churches, if you're familiar with the Vineyard Christian Fellowships. And then a few years after that, I was sent down here to Colorado Springs, where we planted a congregation, and I was the senior pastor there for 16 years. And then in 1999, so it'll be 20 years ago this coming summer, we felt moved by the Lord and got a lot of counsel from others, and we made a transition and moved from our senior pastoral role and started working in a mission role. I work with an organization that trains pastors in Africa. In fact, during this class session, I'll be going to West Africa, Liberia, and that will be my 46th trip to Africa, if you can believe that. Some of those stories will come out, I'm sure, in some of our discussions and dialogues, and I'll send you guys a link to my blog site. You might enjoy it. So, as kind of a parenthesis during that period of time, from January 2014 until the summer of 2017, I had a wonderful opportunity to serve as the director of the King's University's Extension Campus right here in Colorado Springs. After those 3.5 years, the university made the difficult but understandable decision to close the Extension campuses. And at that time, I continued back in with the mission organization, but the leadership of TKU came to me and asked if I would consider teaching as an adjunct professor in the online classes. I had never taught an online class in my life. I had never taken an online class in my life. So my learning curve was pretty much straight up. But it's been almost 2 years now, 1 year and 3 quarters, and I've probably taught 10 online classes, and I'm kind of getting a little better at them. But I have to apologize in advance where some of the syllabus problems and some of those things, that's partially because The IT department helps me by putting something in as a placeholder, and then I try to make my changes, and they don't always get right. To that end, I want to say that I'm a grace guy. And so if you're having any challenges, you need some extension in times, don't you worry at all. Well, down here in my study, you can see I have a lot of books. In fact, I'm going to just show you real quickly a little 360 of my study, and you can see I have a lot of books. Probably 3/4 of them are theology and leadership related, but probably a good 25% of them are related to cultural anthropology, missions, cross-cultural communications, those things. I have a seminary degree from Fuller Theological Seminary, an MDiv degree where I focused on theology exclusively. And then my doctorate is in the area of missiology and cultural anthropology, basically dealing with cross-cultural ministry and cross-cultural communications and those kinds of things. So that always comes out in my teaching. So in this class, Christian Worldview, I inherited a syllabus that I'm trying to follow at one level, but at the same time trying to kind of make things my own as well. And in that little circuitous route, if you will, there have been a few confusions, and for those I apologize. There's a couple of basic things. There are the readings, and remember in my skimming video, you guys are welcome to use and employ that technique, that tool in this class. But there's the skimming and the readings, because those will inform and direct at least one of the discussion questions each week. I think of the 6 weeks that will be remaining, I think at least 4 of them, we have some very specific video interviews that I've done with some people that really have something to say in the area of Christian worldview. And so you'll watch those short videos, they'll all be 6-7 minutes long, and that will also be the topic of a second discussion question. Beyond that, there will be a reflection paper, a short reflection paper on each of the 2 texts, and I'll talk more about that with you guys in a week or so. Don't worry about it, it's not a big deal. 3 to 5 pages, 3 pages is fine, you're going to do great. There will be a journal that you will keep, and I'm so sorry that has been a little foggy. Again, I kind of inherited this syllabus, and I'm just trying to play a little catch up now, but I am a grace guy, so like I said before, we're going to make it all work out. And then there will be a final paper, not real long, but a final paper on a particular topic that we'll discuss in a few weeks, and a final exam that will be quite easy. So those are the basic components that bring us the grades. But more than that, I want you guys just to jump in and interact with the topics, interact with the discussions. And if you do that and you show up, so to speak, you're going to do great in this class. I just want to thank you guys so much for enrolling in the class, and I look forward to meeting all of you. God bless you guys.